Hey guys, welcome back to Lovin Dubai Show. It is your Monday morning and what a show we kicked off the week with. We had Sacha Jafri on the show. He is going to the moon with his art, so stay tuned for that interview. But our big stories that got people talking. One, Dubai police doing the absolute most for a resident. They reunited her with her dad after 6 years of separation.
And her iPhone 12's actually safe to use or not? Like, we give you the lowdown on that and if the UAE are selling it.
Also, watch out for scams. We're talking counterfeiting money. Do not fall victim on social media. Take a listen. Good morning, Dubai. Welcome back to Lovin Dubai Show, where we go through the top trending stories that everyone across the country is talking about. The sweetest story to start your day. A woman reunites with her inmate dad after 6 long years of separation.
We'll also be talking with Sheikh Mohammed, who met a boy who absolutely loves Dubai. How did that story come about?
A gang was arrested for counterfeiting money, and this is your message to not be lured by tempting social media scams.
And all iPhone 12 sold in the UAE are apparently safe. So what exactly is the situation with that? We'll be telling you as well.
And later on in the show, finally, we're going to be joined by Sacha Jafri. His art is going to the moon, but before that, he's a humanitarian, a philanthropist, and so much more. We are so excited to finally have him on the Lovin Dubai Show on this Monday morning, kicking off your week. Good morning to so many of you who are tuning in. Sandeep, good morning. Aziz, good morning. Simran, good morning. Tell us what your mom has done.
Good morning. Oh,
tell us.
My God, my mother. Dearest, you're so funny.
She's not funny. She's looking out for you. She's looking out for your best interest. That's all she's doing, Simran. That's all she's doing.
Okay, so I don't know much about other cultures, but for Indians, it's this whole thing of like arranged marriages. We have it big in our culture. And of course, like, you have the option of love marriage and arranged. But if you reach a certain point in your life, like a certain age where you're single, then your parents go into that, they go into the arranged marriage mode.
Okay.
And they're like, leave it to us. You enjoy life. Take the back seat. Just leave the finding of the perfect ideal man to us.
Can I just say, I know Dubai is notoriously difficult to find the one. And I'm in loads of Facebook groups of women, and because I'm in female-focused Facebook groups, like, how do I find the right guy? Sometimes it's really challenging, and I wouldn't mind my mum stepping in and taking over. So shout out to Simran's mom for doing the needful. What has she done?
Okay, so pros and cons to this, right? But anyway, like, it is pro in a lot of situations and cons when it comes to like the ways, the extent to which parents go to find. So anyway, she's like, make me a bio data, marriage CV and all those things. I'm like, I am not doing that. I'm not going to do that. Like, waste my time making like a bio data for myself.
So it's like a profile, a dating profile. So your mom has written your profile.
She's written my profile.
Why did she not ask me for help?
Yeah, it's like, you've seen the Indian matchmaking, right?
Yeah.
It's very much like that. Like, very similar, right? So like the girls side, they have like a biodata for the girl. The guys side have a biodata for the guy. They just like exchange, like all these groups just keep exchanging pictures and biodatas.
Okay.
It's so funny. And
so what did your mom say?
So she made one for me about like, my daughter's got this degree, and her personality, and she's very compassionate towards her youngest sister and so fond. Her heart is so kind, and such a studious girl growing up. She's so smart, and like, written very ChatGPT-fied.
And can I ask when so this is going to go out into the ether, and then a family is going to be like, we want Simran in our family.
Yes,
so
we pick her.
We pick her
because like a sales ad.
Because she, she studied hard. She's got a great personality. She loves her sister.
Yeah,
she loves animals. And then what happens after that?
And then, I don't know, they get like the guy and the girl to speak over the phone, or if they're in the same city, then meet up. If they're not, then just, Zoom call and see where it goes from there. Are they interested? Are they not? How they want, like, they leave that up to their kids. Like, you guys deal with it now. We found you. Now talk and see if you guys vibe. If not, we'll move on to the next one,
It's just interesting because arranged marriage is something that I did not grow up around. So it was a real kind of an alien concept. But I've spoken to a few people here where it's, yes, your families put you together, but then you have the choice after that if you want to move forward. So I'm guessing it's that type of situation.
It's not imposed upon anyone. Yeah. It's just like, to find a match, you take these steps. But would you be down? Like, had your mom actually been like, Casey, I'm gonna write you up a bio data, I'm gonna send it around, see if I can find someone for you.
So one summer,
from my pool of friends,
I was chilling home alone, single, and my mom was there, and she was like, "Why don't I? Whatever happened, I gave her my dating profile."
Yeah.
And so therefore, she was doing the swiping, and it was so funny because her essentials for finding the partner were very different to mine. So if she saw like doctor, she was like, yes. I was like, yeah, but you haven't really explored the other photos corresponding with the job title. She was like, Casey, doctor, it's fine. Pharmacist, engineer, you know, she was going for all of the traditional work.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what she would do. But look, if you want to meet someone, you could do it the usual way. And then also if you have, you know, your parents helping too, why not?
Yeah.
You know, finding someone is like, if that's what you're looking for, it's really important. And I genuinely think your family are a really good marker of the right person for you.
That's true. They know what's best, right? Most of the time.
Most of the time. Obviously not all the time.
It's not a generalization. It's not like a one-size-fits-all.
But to me,
remark.
My family liking who I'm with is very important.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm not saying I'd like my brothers to go and choose the one, because that could be a whole other ball game. But liking the person is really important.
Yeah, getting along, and of course you don't want those conflicts and of any sort. Yeah.
So it's 8:36. Simran's dating bio is out in the ether.
Oh my god! So embarrassing.
It's very exciting. We want updates. We want to know when the matches are made. Ding, ding, ding. Adorable.
It's all fun and games until they pick the one.
Who knows? We could hear wedding bells so shortly. Who knows? Okay, jumping into our top story. So cute from Dubai Police. A woman has reunited with her inmate dad after 6 long years of separation. Dubai Police fulfilled the wish of a young woman to see her incarcerated father at the Dubai Central Jail on her birthday. And this was after 6 years. Brigadier Marwan Abdul Karim Jalfar, who is director of the General Department of Punitive and Correctional Establishments, clarified that actually the police received a call from the young woman after she arrived in the UAE, and she told the police she would just love to visit her dad on her birthday.
She hadn't seen him since he left their home country 6 years ago in search of work, only to later get involved in financial issues leading to his imprisonment. Now, Brigadier Jalfar said he also highlighted that in-person inmate visits have been halted since COVID-19 pandemic, and in that time has transitioned to visual communication methods, and this approach is considered safer, helping maintain a disease-free prison environment, he confirmed.
So it's really interesting that they haven't been having in-person visits. So you can imagine how keen this woman was to see her dad. The inmate had no idea that this was happening, that his daughter was coming. She had recently arrived to the UAE with her family. She got in touch with Dubai Police, who then made the special arrangements to celebrate the birthday in the prison and surprise the inmate.
That's so touching. And the fact that they even took this on board to arrange all of this and satisfy the wishes of the inmates and her daughter, and just it's a very touching story.
So when sharing the story, they emphasize that they do try and facilitate requests as long as it is within the confines of the law. So if there are special requests, they do their best, and this all happened at Dubai Central Prison. A massive shout out to Dubai Police for making that happen, because that's one family's time, which must be very trying for them. Amazing that she got to see her dad on his birthday.
100%. And as we know, Dubai Police always just go, out of the way for so many special requests and needs. And speaking of going out of the way, here's another story. A Kuwaiti boy's dream came true after he expressed his love for Dubai in a viral interview. So a little boy from Kuwait expressed his love and desire to go to Dubai and see the Burj Khalifa during an interview with Al-Qabas newspaper. And Badr and his family were at the airport heading to the UAE to spend the Eid holidays last July. So this happened in 2022, where he came down to Dubai, and the interviewer asked Badr about the places he wanted to visit with his father, and his only answer was the Burj Khalifa.
Badr knew so much about the Burj Khalifa, he was absolutely fascinated by the most beautiful in the world. The video went viral and it caught the attention of Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, aka Fazza, who invited them to come to Dubai and visit the Burj. So then Badr had the wonderful opportunity, and this is the photos that we've seen this weekend that went viral, to meet His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President and Prime Minister of the UAE and ruler of Dubai, on his next visit. How adorable.
It is so cute. And like we said, like the police go out of their way, and then we know for a fact that Dubai's royals are always like, just, I don't know if they're on the lookout for these stories, but whenever it comes to them, it's like, how do we make their lives more special? How do we just, add that little bit of magic to their lives? And the boy just wanted to see Burj Khalifa. And not only did he get to see that and come back to Dubai, but he met His Royal Highness. And it's just amazing. Magic is such a strong word there, because there's no commonality in the types of stories that are chosen. Yeah. So yes, it might be a delivery driver who's done something amazing, or it might be someone at work who's clearly going above and beyond to make people's days better. But in this case, a boy from Kuwait, so a foreign country, someone who's just excited about the city. And so many people are excited about Dubai. So many people come here. We see the population is growing, tourism is growing. But to mark that one child who just, in the interview, he clearly was obsessed in terms of like the information that he had. So to choose that, dreams do truly come true in Dubai, and it was marked by the ruler. So it's just amazing to see those photos come true. Honestly, so rightfully said. And like, we've heard so many stories in terms of like, okay, the Dubai police, right? Like a kid wants a ride in the Ferrari. So the police actually arrange for that to, make that happen. Or they come over to their homes with mascots, like the things they do for children here. And it's not like exclusive to any nationality, any religion, any culture, any ethnicity. It's like a child wishes and dreams, and seeing that, they're just like, how do we fulfill this child's, add that little bit of like Disney to their lives. So cute. And the way they have like Happiness Street and there's happiness initiatives. I wonder if there's also like a dreams initiative that's got like, somewhere deep DIFC in the government buildings, and they're just like, what wish shall we complete today? And it could be, people meeting people. It could be something by chance. But imagine if that was your job. Just to like look out for what these kids want, and like look out for those kind of stories and grant their wishes. Make it happen, because there must be. There must be someone looking out for these stories. So cute. Dreams department. Speaking the dreams department of Dubai, where dreams do come true. Oh, we're available for the role. We would love to take that on. Speaking of looking out for stories, this is on a whole other ball game, and we're talking counterfeit money. And what can happen if you fall a victim to scams on social media. So a lot of criminal activities happen on social media. People hack accounts, they send false links, they even sell products, including cash, via social media. So the UAE public prosecution recently highlighted a case where a gang was offering fake currencies in exchange for dirhams. Normally, if you want to exchange your money for a different currency, you would go to any exchange center in the city. And while the rates are usually fixed, some other offer different prices for exchanges. But this gang was offering up to 50% off the actual currency value, and this is definitely unheard of. And it's the first red flag that this is a scam. So what would happen is people say, "Oh, I can exchange my money online. Oh, it's 50% cheaper. What a steal." But obviously when something's too good to be true, it's probably a scam. And as Simran said, the first red flag. Nevertheless, people did fall victim to this gang, and they exchanged their legitimate currency for counterfeits online. They have been arrested for defrauding people. The UAE public prosecution urges the public to obtain and exchange currencies through licensed authorities only, and avoid tempting social media ads. So go to your malls, do it with why is my blanking now? Yeah. All of the popular money exchange houses across the UAE. Yeah, the verified, confirmed ones, the official ones that you want to be going to and not online, or not doing it through like shady companies you've never heard of. You don't want to be doing that with money. You don't want to be putting yourself through that when it comes to anything money related. There's so many there's so many scams online right now that whenever I'm making a transaction online, I'm in the middle of getting a credit card, and I'm like,
I feel uncomfortable with this. Are you a scam? Why are you calling me from an unknown number? And I'm like, until like the card arrives, I'm a bit concerned.
But that's how it should be. It's always like better safe than sorry, right?
Yeah.
Like be apprehensive till the very last moment until you know for a fact it's legit.
The poor customer service lady dealing with me, because she's calling me from an unknown number. So I'm like, anything you're telling me, because there's something that they've asked me for. They've asked me to sign over a check, which I didn't realize is part of it. It's not in the terms and conditions. So I'm there ringing the bank separately, being like, is this okay? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. So.
Okay, so that question you asked us that day, it's fine, right, with your bank? It was legit.
According to a phone conversation, but I find a phone conversation is not, you need something in writing.
Yeah, and we know how well writing and emails are working out right now as well.
So when it arrives,
they have their own department of scamming.
Speaking of things that are unsafe, a question that we brought to you at the beginning of the show: are all iPhones safe in the UAE? Simran has the scoop.
Okay. So all iPhones sold in the UAE are apparently safe. Not apparently, they are, including the iPhone 12. So on September 12, the Agence Nationale de Frequency, ANFR, stated that they were pulling the iPhone 12 models from the shelves and temporarily halting their sales as they do not comply with the EU regulations. They noted that iPhone 12 emits high levels of electromagnetic radiation and is unsafe for users. This caused some anxiety on social media. But the UAE came through, and the Telecommunications and Digital Government Regulatory Authority, TDRA, stated that all phones sold in the country are definitely safe.
The TDRA said that the UAE adheres to the highest international security and safety standards for mobile phones. All mobile phones sold in the country go through a rigorous approval process, and electromagnetic radiation is taken into account during the testing. So don't you worry, if you've purchased your phone from the UAE, then rest assured it is safe to use, especially those iPhone 12s where the question mark was.
Exactly. So go ahead, get the iPhone 12s. But you know, one thing I have to point out about the iPhones, like now that we have the iPhone 15 that's released, why are the designs not changing? Like, I feel like it's like for the last couple of years, it's been pretty much the same.
What do you expect?
I don't know, like, see, Samsung have such a range of phones, right? They have the flip phone, they have the foldable ones, they have like really cool like designs and models, and Android is kind of like getting very creative with their designs and their features. But the iPhone is just getting like the same design, it's just getting like a few adjustments, a few holes go missing every year, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to also jump on the is iPhone being innovative enough?
Android versus iPhone.
Is iPhone being innovative enough? I agree with you that like, so this year they went for a harder shell case. They're saying that the internal software is going to produce better videos. The camera is better. Everything is better. But it's every year, and it's such an expensive upgrade. So now I'm sitting here with my 13.
Yeah.
Feeling old hat, when in fact I have an amazing piece of merchandise. But obviously, look, it's consumerism. They have shareholders to answer to. They're going to do it every year, but it's not needed. Like, we already have a mini PC in our hands, and its capabilities are by far more than I need. And I work with my phone every day.
100%.
It's just frustrating then that it feels like it gets a little bit slower, and then the pictures that the iPhone have is so much better. But I wish they would slow down.
Slow down,
like stop every year, put it to every second year,
and come up with like more innovations. Like, because when you go on the website, you're like, okay, what features does iPhone 15 have? And it's like small software upgrades that anyway will come to the other iPhones as well, right? Like with the software is changing up and like upgrading, that's going to happen by default. But it's like these features are, like you said, enhanced camera, which is like, okay, you would expect an enhanced camera, but like nothing else is different. You're not seeing holograms pop out.
Not yet. I have heard that they know what the next X number of iPhones looks like. It's not like they every year go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
It's like they know what the amazing features. So like, you know, they'll probably remember what Android, they just jumped to the 10 or they jumped to an X. So it'll be after the 15, it might go to the 20 and it's going to have like X, Y, and Z. So every couple of years they'll go for like a big bang, and they know that it's going to really get people interested again.
Yeah.
Hold it quiet, hold it soft for a few years. Maybe we're kind of jumping into a recession, so they're not going to unleash the big money.
Yes.
So maybe, but
Smart.
they still do it every year. But it just, as a consumer who now enjoys iPhone and its products, Apple and its products, it's annoying every year because we can't afford these new adjustments.
I remember when initially Casey was just such a Android, like go Androids, go Samsung.
Absolutely. Well, I was the only Android Samsung user in a whole office, and I had to herald its merits. Camera was amazing.
100%.
But storage.
But I think the peer pressure got to you.
It was a gift.
It was
I got expensive phones. I'm telling you, you iPhone users.
But honestly, I feel like this debate is never ending, like Android versus iPhone. And there's such great points for both the sides.
Exactly. I think they're both at this point.
Yeah.
Any phone you have that's new to the market.
Yeah.
If you're getting top of the range, it does exactly what you need to do.
True.
8:50 Monday morning. Hello to everyone who's watching the show. We're about to take a short break, and after that, Sacha Jafri is going to be with us to talk about his art that's going to the moon. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Headline making, Guinness World Record breaking, royal commissions, lunar ambitions, and most importantly, art for a cause. Welcome to the show, Sacha Jafri. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I like the intro.
Morning.
It's good.
Thank you.
Hi.
So you said you're not a morning person.
I'm definitely not. No, I was up at 7. I don't see the day at 7 normally, unless I'm up all night. But no, I'm definitely not a morning person.
More of a night owl.
Yeah, I paint through the night. So then I can go all the way to 12 midday or all the way through the day.
Yeah.
But waking up early, no, definitely not. This is third coffee.
Your bracelets, are you in, do these beads have any significance or it's just a style?
I collect them everywhere I go and then they get covered in paint.
Oh,
as you can see, right? So, and most of them are from my daughter. So wherever she goes, she brings one back.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, it's nice.
And there's a lot of blue going on. Does that have a specific meaning for you?
No, not really. No.
It's a cool look.
I just grab what's there, but then it ends up looking okay, right? Bit messy, but it's okay. Yeah.
I have seen your name in headlines for years.
Right.
But now I get to meet the man.
That's cool.
That is cool. But we want to know your journey to becoming an artist and your background. How did it all begin?
Okay. That's a long story. I'll give you a shorter version. Where did it start? I was probably 12, I guess, 10, 12. And there are only 2 things I could really do in life. One was sport and one was sort of draw stuff, doodles and things. And I was very dyslexic, heavily, chronically dyslexic. So I was bottom of the bottom set, and the bottom guy was here, and I was here, right? There was a gulf. And I couldn't really make sense of the world. I couldn't make sense of numbers, letters, people, communication, nothing. And so I was really frustrated and angry. And I just couldn't make sense of the world or anything around me. And the only time I could is if I was playing sport or painting. And then I played sport and I got a scholarship and that was sort of what I was going to do, professional cricket. And then I wasn't captain anymore. Because when you're captain, it's cool. You're in charge. You're it's very using your brain and you're working stuff out and it's strategy. And then I wasn't because I got to the top level. And I sort of lost interest, threw my toys out the pram. And painting was always my thing. And I just kept painting. And that's when everything just clicked and made sense. And that's how I just kept going from there, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how is your process like for painting?
I paint from a meditative state. So I'm in my brainwaves are in theta. Which is a state of surrender. So they tested, I was chronically dyslexic, like I said, and a lady, a crazy sort of, I think she was Swiss or something. She was about 80, 90 even. She was head of dyslexia for Europe, and she was doing a case study on 3 people. And she picked me to be one of them, and she studied me for 2 years and put pads on my brain. Not brains on my pads. She put pads on my brain. And found that I had 2 wires that weren't in the right place. And she said to my mum, okay, look, we can either operate. We're not sure what will happen, but we can. And it may not be effective. It won't kill him, but it may not be effective. Or we can give him a series of exercises and he can sort of train his way out of it and get these 2 brain synapses or whatever they're called to go into the right place. And my mum obviously said, yeah, okay, let's do that. Let's not operate. And so for 5-6 years, had 2 images on a piece of paper, and I had to move the dog into the kennel with my eyes. And that made the brain rewire itself. And through that process of doing that for years and years, I was then able to project imagery and move imagery. So it actually helped with my whole visual perception. And then they found my brainwaves are in theta when I paint, which is a state of surrender. You can't create in a state of surrender. It's a contradiction. Mozart did it. Beethoven did it. But not many painters that we know of. So that became quite interesting because I realized I'm in a very deep state of meditation. So I'm in a trance when I paint, which is cool. And so I sort of really looked into that and thought, how do I surrender more? What do I focus on? What's cool about this? How could this become something special? And that's sort of what I focused on. Yeah.
Wow.
It's weird, right?
What a story. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And how would you describe your art to someone who hasn't seen it?
All right. To like the full layman or someone who knows a little bit?
Full layman.
Full layman.
Let's go.
All right. How do I describe? The thing is, okay, so you have surrealism, which maybe the full layman does know. Surrealism is when you take an object out of its natural environment and you put it in a different environment. And it's surreal, right? Take the cup off the table, put it in the ocean. Take the watch off the wrist, put it in a tree. That's surreal. So what I try and do, I keep the object in its natural environment. I create surrealism, but with the object in its natural environment. So I keep the cup on the table. I keep the watch on the wrist. But I create surrealism, but not by taking the object out of its environment, by keeping it in and changing your relationship with the object itself. So better way to explain that, by changing the relationship with the viewer and the environment. So I create something, and that's called magical realism now. And it's to do with how you connect with what's in front of you. So basically, instead of you looking at my work, like you do normally with a painting, you look at it, right? And you analyze it and whatever. I try and make the painting, that it's made of energy and that it projects itself from the canvas into you and it connects with your soul and it disconnects your brain. So your brain gets disconnected, your soul gets engaged, and you connect through the energy of the piece, not through the visual makeup of it, if that makes any sense.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's through surrender, through you surrender to something up there and it either works or it doesn't. And the main thing you got to do is you've got to realize that we're made of energy. Well, this is what I think. We're made of energy. We communicate at our most powerful and our most poignant through energy. So our energy is made of our intentions. When our intentions become questionable, we emit static. Energy can't transmit through static, hence the breakdown of humanity, in simple terms. So if I, as an artist, focus on my intentions, purifying my intentions, I then create an energy that when combined with paint, vibrates at a higher frequency and connects with the soul and changes the consciousness of those around within the world, hopefully. So that's sort of the idea of what I try and focus on. And it can become very powerful if you concentrate on your intentions. That's where it comes from.
So interesting.
That's so fascinating. Like, you just don't think so much of thought goes into, like, you know, when you create a piece of art, you would think it's just like your creativity flowing, but you don't think like there's so much more like intricacies that go behind in terms of frequencies and connecting to, you know, like your inner inner self. But what do you have to say to all those people who look at art and abstract and surrealism and go like, oh, I can do that, anyone can do that? Like, what's your
So anyone definitely can do that. Anyone can paint Mondrian, anyone can create a Damien Hirst, anyone can create a Rothko. Definitely. It's the only thing that matters, really. I think the mistake people make as artists, like up and coming artists, students, established artists, even the big names that you know, the mistake they make is they focus on one of two things. So they either focus on the finished product, what it'll look like, how they'll market it, who they'll sell it to, even how much. That's not cool, right? Or they'll go one step better and they'll focus on the process of creation. It's a bit better. But I think what you should really focus on as an artist, whether you're just beginning, whether you're thinking you might be able to do it, whether you're just doing it for fun, you focus on how you live your life. If you focus on your intentions, purifying them, you focus on how you live your life, living a life of grace, then every now and then you'll borrow a moment and something magical will happen. Something will spill out of you. You focus on that, how you live your life. and only that. And then something spills out that's magical. That's what being an artist really is about in its most powerful, most poignant way, I think. Otherwise, you're just creating aesthetics, you know, here today, gone tomorrow. If you really focus on that, something amazing happens. You borrow a moment, but you have to remember, firstly, it's only a moment, and you're only borrowing it. So then you have to give it back, and you have to say thank you for that moment. Then it keeps coming. As soon as you engage the ego and think, it's me, I'm amazing, look how great I am, and you forget you're just borrowing a moment, you lose humility and you embrace the ego, then those moments don't come anymore. And people call it writer's block or creator's block, but I don't think there's any such thing. I think it's when you forget to live a life of grace, you forget you're borrowing a moment, and you really engage yourself and think, I'm amazing, and then it doesn't come. So I think that's the most important thing as an artist to focus on. And then you'll go on a journey and things will spill out of you every now and then that are important or meaningful. That's it. Simple as that.
You say things that are so like touching to the soul, like it connects with you.
And one thing that you do and that you mentioned is humanity and I guess art for higher meaning. How did Journey to Humanity come about? And tell us about it. And by the way, this made $62 billion, third highest art ever sold for a living artist, which is just phenomenal. But also it came with a meaning. And tell us how it came about during a difficult time.
I mean, that was like the epitome of sort of what I'm about, I guess, as an artist, which is to focus on how you live your life, right? So this opportunity came during COVID when everything was shut down. I had to do something. I had to paint, because if I don't paint, I become impossible as a human being, become very difficult to live with. So I had an opportunity to lay out a canvas and paint and see what happened, right? I spoke to the guys at Atlantis and they said, yeah, it's cool. Let's see what happens, right? We can't use our ballroom. Let's see what happens. So I laid out this canvas and it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Then Guinness approached us and said, this might be a world record. You know, this is huge. Let's see when you finish. And I just sort of carried on, and COVID lasted longer and longer, right? It was like we thought it was over, and no, it wasn't. So I was in there 11 months, painting 20 hours a day for 11 months. And I was in a trance for 11 months. So it was like, so it's hard when people ask me about it. It's hard because I really don't know, right? I was in a trance, destroyed my body, because I was in this crouched over bent position for 11 months in a trance. So you're not aware of what you're doing to yourself. You're not aware of the pain you're in or the damage you're doing. So my pelvis went out of line on two axes, that way and that way, which then throughout my heels became dislocated from my ankles. Two vertebrae in my spine just completely came out and nearly severed the central nervous system. So I was nearly like gone. Had to have 2 operations during. And I was having pain injections every day. I was having 2 a day every day towards the end. So it was pretty bad. But I was in this trance and I was surrendering, and whatever was happening was happening. And it was a mess for a long time. It was just like a mess of paint. And then something sort of clicked and happened, and something beautiful happened. And then I had this big thing on the floor. But the problem then was no canvas is that big, right? So it's made up of all these canvases sewed together, and the paint was like that thick by the end, right? So I had all these almost bits of cloth on the floor that were a lot of them were damaged, a lot of them were unusable. The paint was sort of seeping through. There were bits that were like cracking. I'd used certain mixtures that were actually eating away at the canvas. It was like a mess, but just about held together. And then the challenge was, I'd say, okay, if we're going to sort of create something that people can view, because it was impossible to view. It was so big on the floor, right? You couldn't view it unless you had a scaffold 100 foot high and you had everybody up there looking down, but it's impossible. So I cut it all up, and I basically had to find the pieces that were decent, right? That were still alive and that were beautiful, because a lot of the areas were just brown or whatever. So I found the bits within it, and then and then stretch them, you know, and create canvases, proper, what you know as paintings. And then I had to reconfigure this on 2 walls, an L-shaped wall like that, like going that way and that way, so it could be viewed properly and then sold. And that was really tricky, because it was something I'd spent 11 months creating in a trance. And then I spent probably 2 or 3 months reconfiguring it and creating an actual painting. But it became really beautiful. The finished painting, which is called The Journey of Humanity, became so beautiful. And I have no clue how or what happened. But I know that I was like part of the process, but it wasn't me creating it.
Can I just ask, 20 hours a day for 11 months, if you had a boss, I'd be going to them for labor laws, you know, like, how do you personally sustain that? Like, does your personal life just take a total hit? Like, how do you actually manage to cope?
So my wife and daughter moved in to Atlantis, and we were at Atlantis, and we were there, and it was shut down, right? So there was no one was there. It was like one security guy, and there was a chef, which was lucky, so we had light food. And we built a Wendy house for my daughter in the ballroom. She was like 5, I think. Yeah, 5. And we built a Wendy house, and she was like in there all day, just playing, drawing, coloring, whatever, coming on the canvas with me and helping a bit. And my wife was there as well. So we sort of lived in the ballroom. And that's it, really. Wow. I don't really know what happened. It was an amazing journey, you know? It was cool.
Super cool.
It sounds like, you know, it actually, you wanted to make it work and you did make it work.
Yeah.
But tell us about the Prince King Charles coronation, the painting that you gifted the royal family.
He's no longer the prince, right?
Sorry, yes, King Charles.
That was cool. So I've known William a long time. We were at school together, not at the same time, but same school. And then I sort of got to know him very well after school and worked with his Royal Foundation, which was his charity, and a lot of mental health causes, and a lot of things like this. And have sort of worked alongside him a lot, trying to raise money to help issues of mental health in England and then across the world. So I got quite close to the family, and I knew Charles quite well because of that, and did a lot for Prince's Trust and blah, blah, blah. And then I was asked to create a painting to celebrate the coronation of King Charles. So that was quite cool. I was like, this is, okay, that's a big deal, right? And again, I was in a trance, I surrendered, and the only thing I knew was I wanted to create the human, the man, the soul, and not the king. Mm. And I wanted to show people who he is as a man and his journey. At the end of the day, you know, we see world leaders and figureheads and celebrities and as being a sort of different type of human being, right? But at the end of the day, they're human. They have the same problems, the same worries, the same concerns, the same insecurities that we have. Exactly the same. And I wanted to show his self-questioning, his insecurities, all his feelings of doubt, of fear, of succession, of power, all of these beautiful things that make someone a human being. I wanted to show that in his face, in everything around him, so that when you looked at it, you connected with the human being. That was the main thing. And I did it with him like in all his glory, but surrounded by this pool of water around him like that. And that's like, you know, the pool of water, I guess, denotes self-reflection, introspection, looking within, etc., which I think he's had to do a lot on his journey. And it was quite powerful. And then it's gifted to His Highness Sheikh Mohammed as a gift from the British to the UAE, which is beautiful.
So amazing. It's so cool. Do you know where it's hanging now?
We're not really meant to say just yet. So it'll be an official handover. And then I will know, yeah.
Okay. We'll drop it then. Yeah. I'm conscious we're running out of time. So we're kind of zooming through projects here. Zoom. But I just want to ask you quickly about you're taking your art to the moon. This is the first time it's ever been done. What's happening there? Yeah,
that's full on. How long we got?
Well, we have like 2 kind of key questions left in 5 minutes.
All right, I'll try. That's full on. Yeah. It's surreal. I can't really connect with that. It's 50 years since NASA last landed on the moon, right? People forget that. They just think NASA have been there loads. They haven't. So a lot of countries have overtaken, like India, Russia, China, even England, Japan, Germany, the UAE.
What has NASA been doing?
Yeah, right? What have they been doing? It's a fair question.
Waiting for you.
What have they been doing? No, they've been doing other stuff. But anyway, so they've been working for the last 20 years to say, we've got to make sure we land on the moon this year. This is quite important. Landing on the moon is a really difficult thing to do. People don't really understand. It's incredibly difficult. You can do a hard landing. Okay, no problem. But that's basically a crash. To soft land on the moon, incredibly difficult. So anyway, they've been working on this for a long time. Then they approached me through a company called SpaceBit, who are their partners on the mission. They've got Jeff Bezos, who's Blue Origin, who's the rocket, the engine, all that. A company called Astrobotic, who make the hardware for NASA. They make all the, the moon lander, all that stuff. You've got NASA CLPS, who do the payloads, finding out all the information, the scientific stuff. You've got Selenian, who are the curators of art in space. And anyway, they approached me and said, we're doing this mission. We'd love to take your work to become the first work of art to officially land on the lunar surface of our moon. And I was like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
So that was like 3 years ago. We've been working on it for 3 years, and I've basically created this heart-shaped piece on a moon-resilient plate that took 2 years to research and create, because NASA said the only way we can corroborate this as the first official artwork to land on the moon is if we can prove that plate will last eternally. Otherwise, it's just there for a bit, it disintegrates, it's gone. So that was 2 years testing it to prove that it could last eternally. Eternally, as far as mankind understands eternally. And then the piece is like a heart. It's about that size, engraved on laser. I laser engraved it onto this moon resilient plate. And it's a heart with two figures entwined. And around them is our world as it could be if we reconnected. So the idea is, it shows the reconnection of humanity with two figures, and then the world blooming and flourishing around it, as it could be if we actually reconnected as a humanity and sort of understood what love and empathy really means, and understood a better way forward for our children and what the world might look like. So the beautiful thing of it, I think, is the symbolism around the idea of our Earth at night. The only natural light we have is the moon. So when we go into darkness, from the darkness comes the light. When we go into darkness, our moon is going to shine a light on us, and it's going to shine it through my piece of work, my artwork, which shows this reconnection of humanity. So it's this beautiful idea of that. And that to me is the exciting part.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And so what's next for you? So many projects, so many
I'm focusing on that. That's November. That's soon. It may crash, right? So let's hope it lands. If it does, it's really cool. And then 8, as it lands, there'll be a beep, beep, beep in the control room in Cape Canaveral. You'll see this sort of red dot go beep, beep, beep. And then 8 heart NFTs will come out of it, from the physical thing landing on the moon. 8 heart NFTs will come back to Earth, and the money that we create from selling those will raise money for charitable funds in our world to help humanity get to where it could, if it reunites. And
it's incredible.
Yeah. So that's happening. That'll be cool.
Very much out of the box thinking for that one.
Yeah. It's cool. It's exciting.
So that is November. So fingers crossed. We know how touch and go these moon landings can be. And very finally, in your words, can you define what success means to you?
Yeah, I guess. I think we get very confused and distracted about what we're here for. I think we're here for one thing, and that's for love, to find love. So the only thing we're on this world for is to find love, to love and be loved. That's it. Everything else is just a distraction or a what's the word? Like a red herring, let's say. It's like a distraction from what we're really here for. So we're all searching for happiness and achievements, but at the end of the day, we're just looking for love. That's the only thing a human being is actually looking for. We just don't realize it. So I think if we find that, that's success.
Love that to end the show. Before you joined, actually, we were chatting about dating profiles, and Simran's mom has her dating bio out in the ether. So we're talking a lot about finding love, about how important it is.
It is.
It's so important.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what we're here for.
But that's so beautifully said. And thank you so much for joining us on this show this morning.
Great to see you.
She's going to kill me for that. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on this Monday morning. A massive thank you to Sacha Jafri. What a legend. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Guys, that is all we have time for in the Lovin Dubai show. We're back with you tomorrow morning. Same time, same place. Bye-bye from me.
Goodbye.
Bye.